Today we're talking the rough all inspection, where we take the chaos of a construction site and make sure that all the organizational details are defined and in line before we bring the inspector in, because the next step is insulation and then drywall. I'm Dave Edwards with Earthbound Homes.
And I'm Patrick Dugan.
Let's take it away. The rough all inspection is really the most important inspection before we hit the final inspection. And understanding what the inspector is going to be looking for and what we have to get ready for is going to be super important. So Pat, tell me a little bit about the rough all inspection process and what they're looking for and how long it's going to take.
Absolutely. So on a house this size, it could take up to 2.5 hours walking through all the components. That's electrical, HVAC, plumbing, making sure the fire sprinklers, everything is in place.
Okay.
So,
and are they going to be checking for structural as well?
They will be going through. So we've done the initial structural, all the walkthroughs with the city or the county, the engineer of record and third-party inspectors, but they will also be going to make sure that there are not excessive holes through structural components, beams, shear walls, things like that. So
okay, because a lot of times the HVAC guys and the plumbers have to drill big holes through lumber, and if that lumber was critical and they didn't ask permission from the project manager ahead of time, they could cause damage to the structure.
That's correct. And so we also always check with our structural engineer of where we could drill through certain like sewer, waste lines through a beam. They'll specify where we can do that and what, height, dimension out and everything. So.
Got it. Okay. And so what happens when we're getting ready for this rough all and then we get into the rough all? Are you there? Is the plumber there? Like, what's going on with that?
So what we like to do is we like to have a representative from each subcontractor there. I'm there myself, walking through. If there's any questions, each corresponding trade can go through and answer that.
Okay.
But generally what they'll do for plumbing, they're going to want to see everything powered up, meaning there's actual pressurized water in the water lines. We have all of our venting completely filled up. The inspector is going to go through, they're going to knock, and they'll be able to tell a difference if it's filled under pressure or not.
Okay.
And then for electrical, what they're going to do, they're going to look at the connections, make sure all the boxes are made up, all the pigtails are in, the wire nuts are in place, and everything's ready to be made up to their final locations.
And protected from sheetrockers.
Yep.
Okay.
Nail plates, nailing, everything.
Okay. And then what about HVAC?
So for HVAC at the rough inspection, what they're going to want to see, they're going to want to see the ducting. They're going to want to see the registers in place with blocking, everything secured. The units, the air handlers, don't necessarily have to be in during that inspection. They can see that after the fact, but you're going to want to have everything run as far as your ducting. They want to see that it's all kind of up there and secure.
Okay. And then you mentioned fire sprinklers.
That's correct. So fire sprinklers, those will have to be in place. And at that point, before you close the walls, they're going to want to see from the fire marshal that it is okay. It's pressurized, under pressure, everything's as per plan with our fire plan, and everything is ready to go.
Okay, so really the testing for the plumbing lines and for the sewer lines, we're making the vents, we're making sure that we're not getting leakage in those systems so that in the future, if water was to go into the drain, it wouldn't leak into the house.
That's correct.
Okay, and then everything is protected from the sheetrockers and the installation guys, because the sheetrockers install a lot of screws. And if that screw goes into a plumbing line or a vent line or an electrical line, they could totally damage it and it would have to be removed and replaced.
Yep. So prior planning is going to save a lot of time in the future.
Got it.
You don't want to have to be opening the walls after drywall or when you're trimming out after everything at the end of the project and find out that you have a nicked wire or something like that where it's going to cause a lot of problems.
Okay. And so then after this step, we go to what?
We follow this with insulation inspection.
Okay.
And then we go after that with drywall inspection. They're going to look at the overall general nailing. A lot of counties only require, say, wet areas or something, but for general drywall, they might not look at the actual screw
So
circle.
a lot of inspections.
Absolutely.
Okay. If you're interested in learning more about the Venkatesh project, or building science, or just building a better way, hit subscribe as we show you how to build a better way.